Alright, so for this next segment, we're going to be over here at the press, and we're going to want to put, we're going to have to find something that'll press on the shaft right here in the middle. This is a 19mm socket that I'm going to use to be pressing that. So we're going to set this in here on these two little circles on these plates. Get it kind of centered. And try to fit our socket in there. In there. Let's go ahead and press this main shaft. You need a lot of pressure to make everything move, so you'll hold the shaft from the bottom so it doesn't fall out. And you can press down on this. Press the shaft out for you. There we go. Just like that. Shaft is out. Has now been promoted to a clutch alignment tool, so we'll go ahead and throw this in our pile. So I'll basically grab all this stuff. You can grab it all in a stack and take it back over to the table. Here's the new to us used main shaft we're going to be doing. So here's what the second gear looks like when it's not completely sheared off. This first gear looks pretty good, but it does need to be cleaned very well. Because as I was saying in the other shaft, there's these holes right here. This guy here, this guy, and this guy. So the oil goes in here and then it distributes to all the gears and stuff, and it's really dirty in here. And this hole on the end here goes all the way through. So this stuff needs to be sprayed out. This hole is completely covered in gunk. I'll spray, basically brake clean, and all these holes right here, spray through the top until it starts coming out clean. And then I'll hit it with some compressed air to clean everything out of there. And then we can start assembling this. I got my main shaft all cleaned off. I usually just set it right back in the trans right here to use it as my holder for when I'm putting this stuff all back on. So the easiest way to keep track of your gears and everything is some people take these completely apart, set them on the table next to each other. But what I do is, this is the whole stack that I took off of the press, just like this. So I'll go ahead and flip it over upside down on the table, this, and then you can just start reassembling everything back onto the shaft, how it goes. But you do need to clean everything like I was saying. So starting with this needle bearing, we'll go ahead and clean this guy. Go ahead and set that down onto the main shaft. And just continue with the process. So this is going to be our third gear. So usually just take a look at it, inspect it. It's a little scratched up on the bottom here from that broken second gear, but as far as these being cracked or anything, they look pretty good. And the teeth on this ring right here look pretty good as well. So we'll go ahead and clean this guy. So these three indentations go up. That's because it's got this synchro here with this ring inside of it, and these three notches right here fit inside of these three grooves. Maybe I have to grab the camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So these three notches right here, 1, 2, and 3. These three tangs right here, 1, 2, and 3 fit inside of those. So this goes on there like this. We'll have to pull this apart and clean it all before we put it all back together. Alright, so when you go to put this back together, this synchro ring, these notches go up. So you go ahead and set this back in here like that. Set this in there like that. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notches in it. As you can see, these guys right here, they fit into these notches right here on this other synchro. So you'll go ahead, this is tapered down, you'll go ahead and flip this, get it in there, get them to line up like that nicely. And then you'll go ahead and flip this over and put these notches into those holes that I was talking about a little bit ago. This next piece right here is the 3 and 4 hub slider right here. So this And basically is what allows you to engage into the next gear. So when you pull it to go to third, it goes down into third. Pull it up, it goes into fourth. So this slides in and out like that. This should slide in and out of itself nicely without too much force. When they start to get really bad, they start to get really chewed up in between these lines here. So then that's when it makes it really hard to put it in gear. But this piece looks like it's in pretty good shape. You want to inspect these teeth right here on the outside. They're supposed to look like little houses, and once they start getting ground down, you'll see that they don't look like points anymore. So these look great still. So I'm going to be reusing this part. And when I took it apart, it's got this tapered edge right here with this line on here, so that goes down. Another indication that tells you it goes down is it has this little indicator right here. It's like a little line. That'll tell you that it needs to go down as well. So I'm going to clean this and get this on there. Get this all clean, we can set it on the main shaft. And one other thing to note is these notches right here in the gear, or in the slider, sorry. These notches right here line up with these gold notches right here on the synchro itself. So when you're setting this down on here, you want those to line up. Set that down, get it to line up, push it down. Sometimes you gotta give it a little bit of persuasion. There we go. So that went all the way down. And now that I took this off, there's a good thing to point out. So these have like a little U right here. So these are all lines, and this one is a U. So if you look in here, this right here is missing like a tooth, and it only has a notch at the top. You line up those notches with those U's, and that's how this goes on. So it only goes on that one way. Like that. So now that's you can test it as far as going into third gear. Pull it down like that. That's third gear right there, and then that's neutral in between the two. So we can move on to the next one now. Fourth gear, same thing. It's got the 3-piece dual cone synchro. We do the same process and get this one on. Another thing to note as well, with these synchros, you want to be looking at this top piece here. If you look at it from the top, you'll be able to see the damage that's done to these. This one's actually in really good shape, so it's still looking pointy and then kind of flat at the top. But same thing with the little houses like I was talking about. These you want these to be nice and sharp and pointy. If they're not, then it's probably about time to replace your synchro. So that's what's nice about these K-Series trannies, that third and fourth gear have these dual cone synchros, so it stops everything. It helps everything slow down a lot faster. So same thing with this. These 3 notches will line up with the 3 notches on the slider here. So this one will just go like that, drop right into place. Fourth gear. So this is fourth gear right here. It's got those same 3 notches that line up with the 3 notches on that middle part there. So just give it a little quick inspect. It looks pretty good. Set that in there. Now this is a collar that holds the 4th and 5th gear. So you go ahead and pull that out, clean it out. There's a bunch of metal and stuff inside of it. Some lubrication on that. Slide that over the main shaft here. And get it into place. Get the bearing on there. Alright, so this is our 5th gear. No notches on this one. This one just sits right down on top of the sleeve here. This one just sits on there like that. And you'll have your 5th gear carbon synchro. And, sometimes the rings get stuck in there. This is got a ring. This one always looks in great shape. You're never really power shifting or doing anything crazy in the 5th gear. So the 5th gear one always looks to be in great shape, and this one is carbon lined, as you can see in there. This one's not brass like the other ones on the inside. So when you upgrade to a carbon synchro set, this is what it looks like on the side. It's lined in carbon, and here it'll be black instead of the brass color. Sorry about the compressor, but you just set the ring on top just like that, and there's no notches or anything in this one, so this one just sits right on top. Sorry about that. So like as I was saying, this synchro doesn't have any notches or anything. This one just sits right on top there. So next is the 5th gear hub and slider. With this one right here, it has that same little dash there that the other gear had. It's right here. So that goes facing down, and then same thing, the line that's on this right here goes facing down. You do have to line up the notches on this one with the synchro. So it's easier to just pull that off and do it like that so you can see what's going on. Sometimes this one needs a little bit of love to get it down on there. You just need to lightly tap it. The hub. This guy. Now this one does not have the U in it like the 3/4 slider does, but it's gonna be pretty hard to pick up on camera. But it does have 2 teeth. These 2 teeth right here are taller, and it has 3 sets of them, and they're taller, and the grooves on the hub itself are deeper, so it'll only fit on one way. So you kind of have to look at and find your 2 tall teeth, and then line them up with the 2 deeper grooves. Like on this one right here, I can see that these 2 are deeper than the ones right next to them. So then I will try to find my 2 tall teeth and line them up with those, and get it right, and slide on just like that. On top is this, I guess technically it's a spacer, and it aligns the main shaft in the case with these 3 tangs right here. When you have a 6-speed transmission, this isn't there, and then you'll have your 6th gear is actually on the top of the shaft here. So instead of this piece right here, you'll have the 6th gear, and it's simply up there. So, but this is technically where it replaces it when you have 5 speed. Put it right on there, just like that. Next piece is just the collar that goes on there. It can go on both ways. It has tapers on both sides. Just put a little bit of oil on it. It should slide right down on there, just like that. And then this is the final piece of the main shaft. This is going to be your bearing that goes on top. So on the bottom, here, this part kind of protrudes out. That part goes down. Another easy way to tell is just all the letters and everything all face up. So that's how it goes on the main shaft. I will go on the other way, but it'll sit a little bit too low, and it'll start pushing down on this piece right here really hard and start pushing everything down. So easy way to tell is just put the letters facing up, and you got it good. But this one needs a really good cleaning. All of the junk and stuff gets all caught up in these bearings and everything. So make sure you clean this out real nice. So, and you don't have to try to like force these on. They usually go on pretty nice, so you don't have to usually you don't have to beat it with a hammer or anything. So if you get it on there just right, you can literally just press it down, and it goes on just like that. And once everything is clean and everything, it makes it really nice to put everything back together. So that is the complete main shaft. So this is your 1st gear right here. This is reverse, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear. And this is a 3/4 slider. So right there, right here it's in 3rd, right here it's in 4th, and then back to neutral. And then this is your 5th gear slider. So right there it's in neutral, and down like that is in 5th gear. So that's how you can kind of test if everything went together smoothly. You want to pull this up, down, pull this up, make sure it goes completely all the way into gear, and then you put it back in the center there. Same thing with the top, just like that. If you were to have a 6th gear, like I said, this would slide up and go into 6th, but this is a 5-speed, so it takes up this spot right here. But that is the complete main shaft assembled, and it went pretty smooth. Other than that, it's pretty easy to assemble. Just keep all your parts in order. Do one part at a time. Clean everything really good when you get it back together. That way when you get it back together, everything is nice and clean. But we still have to clean the case and the bell housing and everything because it's still super dirty. Like that. So we're only going to be pressing on the shaft itself, which is right in the middle. Alright, well, I ran out of socket. So, this back up. The shaft is actually loose. Just popped out the bottom there. So there it is, just like that. So this shaft does have a bearing on the bottom and a sleeve on the very bottom. So, take this over to the bench. And my socket's actually still in there, so. So now that we got the counter shaft off, we'll slide that off. Try to get this collar off here. A little tap. Slides right off. And just give a quick look at this final drive. It's a little bit chewed up, but not too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and send it and use it. It's not cracked. Usually want to look at the face of the teeth right here and see if it's cracked, but this one looks good. This hole goes all the way through. Same thing on cleaning this guy. So you can tell that one is fully full of stuff right there. So then we'll go ahead and clean this one up. Alright, so first thing that goes on this counter shaft is this collar. Got it all cleaned up. Put some oil on it. Slide it down on there. Next thing is this bearing. Alright. So same thing with this guy. Let me go ahead and pull the bearing and this off the top there. Just go ahead and flip these over. This one's a little bit harder to handle because the gears aren't too stable, but flip it over like that. This is going to be your first gear right here, this super big guy. But I'm probably going to have to get another one of these. As you can tell, that one has a broken tooth right there. So I'm going to go ahead and swap this one out for a different one. Found another first gear. It's in really good shape. Everything looks like it's really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one right here. Easiest way to match them up is just to flip them over on each other and line up all the teeth. This one over here, set it on there just like that. So just like on the other gear stack, dual cone synchros on the first gear here. So just go ahead and give them a little look over, make sure nothing's broken. Everything looks good, lines up, teeth are good on here. Same thing with these 3 notches. Line up with the 3 notches on the gear. Put that on there, line those notches up. Drops down in there nicely. Alright, so next is going to be this hub and slider. This one's pretty hard to put on upside down just because it's got this big ring on the bottom for the reverse. But just make sure this one slides up and down pretty good. Again, check the teeth on the top here for rounding off. The first gear side of it looks pretty good. Second gear looks a little chewed up from banging second gear, but doesn't look too bad at all. Slides in and out smoothly. So same thing. This one actually has 3 marks on the part where it slides down onto the synchro. So you'll know that that part goes down. Go ahead and slide this one down onto there. Line up the notches with the teeth. And just like that. Next synchro set, same thing. Dual cone synchro. Give it an inspect. Looks good. Next little piece here is this. It's got a sleeve, but it's also got this other, I think it's a spacer. That's what they call it. So it's got 3 little teeth, one here, and one here. And those line up with the teeth in here. That guy right there. That one there. And the one on the other side. So these are the, you can see the little teeth there, 1, 2, and 3. So you flip that one over, get it lined up in those little spots up there. We'll go ahead and put the sleeve over the top, and there we go, just like that. So same thing, 3 notches on here, line up with the 3 notches on the gear. So this one's gonna go flip like this. Then you kind of turn it, and it'll drop down on there where it needs to go. Test shifting, that's all good. There's a bearing that goes in between there, this guy right here. Alright, now for this next gear, this is going to be 3rd gear right here. This guy just needs cleaned and it's slid on. It doesn't have synchro or nothing because it's on the other side of the shaft there. So this one literally just lines up with these teeth and you push it down. Just give it a quick cleaning. Alright, so we got this girl cleaned up. So basically it just goes like this. Slides on. So moving back over to the press, I just got a piece of 3-inch pipe in there. And I got the shaft just sitting on top of this plate here, since it's just going to push down on the gear itself. With the shaft moving down. So we'll go ahead and get that one pressed into place. Once you get it there, you'll feel a positive stop, and that's your cue to stop. It's off. Move on to the next gear. What's cool about using aluminum is that it's not going to mar up your gears or anything because it's just softer than the sheet metal itself. So we'll get this one on there next. Should slide on there. So now that this is all technically locked in place with this gear, now I can flip this whole assembly over like this, and now I can press from the actual counter shaft itself down, and it'll all stay in place because this one is holding everything together now. Alright, get that guy on there. This guy goes on there like that. Alright. So the final parts to this shaft are going to be that collar. I just grabbed the original one that we had that came off of it. So it just slides on there like that. This washer right here, everybody don't forget this washer. It is very important. A lot of people forget to put this back on. That goes on there and takes up the space. There's a little shoulder here on the shaft. It takes up that exact space right there. So when you put the bearing back on, it holds everything together. Last thing on top is going to be the bearing. Just going to give it a little cleaning real quick. We'll get that on there and put the bolt back on. Alright, so we got that washer on there, and same thing with the bearing as the other one. The C-clip side goes up, because this is what goes in the case. So this goes up, same thing as the other one. The letters and everything go up. This one doesn't really have that taper on the bottom, so that's the best way to tell that it goes up, is this line right here. We put this back on the top here, and you do have to press this on. It's not It's not a slip-on fit like the other shaft. So. Feel it stop. We're up. And now you'll see that right here on the top it has a little bit of space between the top of the shaft and the top of the bearing, so when you put the bolt on, it actually pushes down on the bearing, and that's what holds it in place and holds this stuff all together. So here's the bolt, and remember, it is reverse thread, so you'll have to act like you're taking it off to put it on. Get it in there, and I usually don't torque it. I usually just hit it with this impact. So put it on here. Give it a couple ugga-duggas. And that's it. And that is the main shaft complete. So we got first gear, second gear, then third, fourth, fifth, and then our shaft collar and the bearing and everything all put back together. Alright, well, this is all I'm going to do for today. I hope this was a good video for you guys. I try to go step by step as much as I can to help you guys. If you have any questions or comments or anything, let me know down in the comments section. But sorry for the long wait on the next video. We've just been we haven't really had much going on over here at the shop. No racing really going on. It's been really cold and snowy here in Colorado, so we haven't done much of that stuff. But with that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.